Hey guys, it's Vivid. I'm here today with a new video, and today I just want to go over some simple basic things before I start making new videos, and hope that you guys will take something from this, especially if you're new, because this is pretty important before getting into anything else. So when you start up Fortnite, you want to make sure you have some really good settings that you can work around with and play with, because you're gonna need really good settings to do anything, pretty much. So when it comes down to the basics of it, there's plenty of guides out there to getting the best frames or performance, all of that. So I just want to point that out there, just to get that out of the way. But besides that, I also want to make sure that all of you players who are struggling out there to get better at the game, make sure you also have a strong set of keybinds for all your builds and all your guns, because it's very important to have a good set of keybinds when you're playing this game, because of all the switching you have to do in the middle of fighting. So what I mean by that is try to use a strong set of keybinds that are easy for you to use, because you need to make sure you can use these keybinds consistently and for a long time, as long as you can pretty much use them. So yeah, I just also wanted to just point this out, because I know there are actually players out there who do not have keybinds for their pyramids or their traps, or maybe just even something as simple as like an extra gun slot, because with these keybinds they can really help you out with lots of lots of things basically. And you really need strong keybinds, especially for building, to improve at this game. And I won't really tell you guys what are the best keybinds out there, because it's all honestly preference. But what you can do is you can look up some of the keybinds lots of pro players use and try to take some of their keybinds and use them for yourself. I mean, there's nothing really wrong with that. You can even use my keybinds if you want, just to get started, but I just want to point that out. Just try to use a strong set of keybinds when you're playing this game, because scrolling or just switching in that kind of way is just not quick enough and not efficient when it comes to fighting and lots of tough scenarios. So yeah, make sure you have a strong set of keybinds. And lastly, but not least, make sure that I hate the fact that I have to point this out, but there are lots of players out there that are struggling with using good sensitivity settings for Fortnite. I don't know what it is, I don't know why, but make sure your settings are good for Fortnite. And by that I mean make sure that your DPI settings, your X, Y sensitivity, and also your aim down sight and scope sensitivity is something you can use for aiming and shooting. I know that's so stupid for me to say, but there are lots of players struggling out there at aiming and shooting. There are players out there that use extremely high sensitivity for some random reason. Like, I don't know, you get like a 1600 DPI mouse with a 0.50 sensitivity, and that's literally not exaggeration. There are people out there with that kind of sensitivity. And I understand moving quick is nice and all, but if you can't land a clean shot because moving a single millimeter will turn your player pretty much at a 45-degree angle, it's just not worth having. You want to make sure that's something you want to make sure that you have a sensitivity that is optimized and perfect for you to fight with. If I were any of you that are struggling with just basic sensitivity, try to stick with something common that lots of players use, like 400, 800, and 1600. Those are the common ones that pro players use. Just keep it low enough to the point where you can consistently hit headshots with your shotgun. that's when you know that your sensitivity is just right and works perfectly for you. So yeah, I'll come back later with another video soon. Hopefully I will not have to come back to making a simple simple video on something as simple as this, because this should be a no-brainer. But telling you guys again, there are lots of players I know that are just forgetting the most basic parts of Fortnite, which is just, well, not just Fortnite in general, just any video game. It's settings. Make sure your settings are optimized so that you can play at your best. So yeah, catch y'all later in another video.